Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you on the 18th of July, 21. I am on deck, 2400 hours Central Daylight Time. I've taught you a lot about power grid defense. I'm here to tell you now that a lot of you really just don't understand the gravity, the seriousness of this situation. Loss of the grid happens to be very likely and far worse than most of you who even follow us actually think it can be. This is not a trivial thing. Many of you are preppers and you think you got it covered. Well, you need to be a prepper. And if you've never been a prepper before, you need to be a prepper now. And you will take it real seriously, hopefully, after you listen to me. But you may not have it covered anywhere near as well as you think. This is a grave situation when we lose our power grid. I'm going to go all into that. It just so happens that the sun has kicked out about 3 CMEs in 3 days. Fired to the far side, fortunately for us. And these CMEs could have been a game changer had to be pointed at us. Saturday morning, I asked a solar astronomer friend of mine who happens to go to the farmer's market where I sell what the magnitude of those CMEs are. And she said, well, frankly, we don't know. Why? Because they were aimed in the other direction. And the instrumentation on that side of the sun just isn't what it is on looking from this side. So they don't know. But from the photographs, they were intense. Those sunspots will be coming back around for us to see them in about 3 days. But they hadn't really fired off so much the last couple of days. So hopefully they're calming down. But you never know. It could have just as easily all occurred on this side. And eventually that's going to happen. I'm going to talk all about that. Also, when you consider the military situations in the world today, the tensions that are growing day by day between the United States and China, between China and India, India and Pakistan, the United States and Russia, Europe and Russia, the tensions between Israel and Iran. It's been said that Iran is now going all broke for the bomb, and that Israel is actually planning to hit them. That's the rumors I'm hearing. I've seen some articles that claim that. I may go into that in some future videos. There's so much to cover right now. It's more than I got time to do. But I'll bring you this about the power grid as part of my eyes wide open, head on a swivel series, so you know what's coming at you. It's also going to be part of my power grid playlist. I do have a playlist on power grid defense, and I highly encourage you to go through it and look. Well, I mixed a lot of other prepper type videos in there too, so unfortunately, maybe I need to reorganize some of that stuff. But guys, this is severe. Now, like I said, I've got a lot of videos on this. I've brought a lot of videos on what you can do to get a grid hardened. But if we got CMEs coming at us in a few days, it's too late. If we got war coming at us in a matter of weeks, it's too late. Now, it may not be that soon. I'm kind of thinking we got a few years still to get ready, but I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee tomorrow. Anyone would try that would be foolish. Even my great crystal ball here gives me no guarantee of that. The only thing I can see through this crystal ball is a light shining from my lamp here. Which was a gift from Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, by the way. All right. Well, the crystal ball is pretty. All right. I wish I could look into it and discern exactly what's coming at us. But no one has been able to put a beat on it. So it is dangerous. It is dangerous because of things like our nuclear power plants, but not the plants, not the reactors. Everybody worries about the reactors. Forget about the reactors. They're nothing. Not compared to the spent fuel rod pools. There's where you get so much stuff there, and we're not even in the containment buildings, my friends. We're going to go all into that. We'll talk about it. But first, you need to prepare. You need to prepare every way you can. I cover a lot of preparedness on this channel. One of the things you can do to help yourself, though, is to have long-term food storage, because you may be in a period where you can't even grow food, but you better have seeds so you can grow food once everything settles down. You don't want to be outside gardening with these fuel rods cooking off, emitting radiation everywhere. May not be any good to be outside at that point in time. Or in a nuclear winter, forget about it. You're not going to do anything. But you better have the seeds ready for when it's over. That's all you're going to eat, other than what you've got stored up. But store for the meantime, just because there's so many contingencies. That's why it's good to have long-term food storage. I do have a deal with it right now. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, you can get $300 off 3 months supply. $300. 3 months supply of long-term storage food. It lasts 25 years. That's the advertised shelf date. I would say much longer. 25 years. So it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2,000 calories a day with drinks and desserts. Hey, that'll make you a winner. Because look, these are lightweight because they are freeze-dried. You reconstitute it and it becomes regular food, not mushy stuff. This is real stuff. It's awesome stuff. It's easy to carry. That bucket is 2 weeks. 2 of those buckets is a month. You can get $50 off a month if you go to prepwithgreg.com. If you go to my Patriot Supply, you don't get that deal. Go to prepwithgreg.com. And you can click on the logo of my Patriot Supply and find all kinds of other prepping supplies, like water filtration equipment, for example, air filtration. You get at one of these events, you're going to need both water and air filtration, and other prepping supplies if you're out on the move. Okay, my friends, I'm going to show you a couple websites real fast. I'm going to go into a little PowerPoint presentation. Well, you know what? I'm just going to talk. Let's just talk before we do this. Imagine this. Lights go out. You were watching something on TV, maybe a bowl game, maybe the Super Bowl. You're sitting there, and the lights go out. You go, what? What just happened? I just missed the play. You reach for your phone. You call your buddy Jack. Try to call your buddy Jack. Cell network's down. Something's wrong. You can't get through. What was the play? Well, I just missed it. You start thinking a minute. You go, oh, shoot, I'm a prepper. I got a ham radio back in the closet. Let me pull it out, set it up. I'll call, I'll go on and people tell me what's going on. You get on the ham network, and there's a few people out there, not the normal chatter, and you discover that power's out everywhere. What? No big deal. I'm a prepper. I'm one of the best preppers there are. I got everything. I'm good. I'm covered. I live 100 miles away from the nearest red light. I got a well, tons of food. I'm good. Okay. Well, you go to turn on the water though, and your well pump is not working, so your water's not pumping. Now, of course, maybe you got solar. If you're in the city, go turn on the water, and as soon, well, you'll have water for a little bit. One of those big tanks run dry. There's no more water. So somebody lives in the city. You get on the bicycle, but your car's not running for some reason. You go get on the bike, you head to the grocery store, and you find all the windows smashed in. The looters doesn't beat you there. They tell you, well, if it hadn't been for the looters, you wouldn't buy anything anyway because the registers weren't working. Some places may be locked down. Cash registers don't work. You go to the bank. You only had $5 in your pocket. Can't pull no cash out of the bank. ATMs don't work. Try to use your credit card. They don't work without. They don't have the swap cards anymore. Those old cards like they used to have. Nope. They all have to be red with a little magnetic strip or the chip. Or guess what? That works. Credit account's gone. Bank account's gone. You have no money except the money you got on you. And what have you got to trade for barter? What do you have? Do you have barter saved up? Maybe you're in town. You think, oh, I'm good. I got gas heat. I'm fine. I got gas heat. And you discover it won't turn on. Why? Oh, yeah, that thermostat. It's electrical. Gee. So suddenly your furnace is useless. Maybe gas, but that thermostat requires electricity to turn on and off. So maybe there's a lot of other components in your furnace system. Your HVAC. Your oven may not even work. A lot of ovens these days are going to try it. Got a wood stove? Probably not if you live in the city. If you're the guy out in the country, who's 100 miles out, a couple of weeks later, you're noticing livestock getting sick. You stayed in the house some, but you're starting to see the livestock getting sick. What? What's going on? And he starts dying. And the people starts getting sick. And they start dying. Now you're really getting alarmed. They're all isolated. I live 100 miles near the red light. I've been around nobody. Your family members are getting sick. You're starting to die. You're getting sick. You go back into your boxes in your storage room. You start checking for your your meters for radioactive, your Geiger counters and stuff. Break them out. Dosimeters, Geiger counters. And you discover everything's radioactive is on the get out. And that's the last reading you take. What happened? You're the best prepper in the world. Didn't be any good. Maybe that don't happen. Maybe what happens, maybe the people pouring out of the cities, like ants out of a fire ant hill when you kick it, coming beating on your doors and for food. And maybe if you run out, you're the food. You're the long port. You're out hunting. And you don't see anything. I had a friend, General Ken Chrosniak, went to Croatia and Serbia, those areas back during the war over there. The forests were silent. Freaked them out. You knew something was wrong, and you figured out there was no animals, no birds. People hunted everything out. I mean, even little birds, rats. It was silent. So, yeah, a lot of people think they're going to hunt for a living. Hey, I got a big bull rifle, no problem. Might be the only thing you can shoot at. If you hit it, it's just going to be a splatter of fur, and that's about it. Poof, fur ball. Because your rounds are far too big for what's left over. It don't take but a few weeks, and all the game's gone. Do the game, but then maybe the radiation comes out. So in all truth, you got to worry about these nuclear power plants, not just the reactors. The reactors have far less radioactive material in them than the spent fuel rod pools. Nobody talks about the spent fuel rod pools because, well, we got power. We can always keep the cooling water on. They're okay until the power goes out. Hey, we got backup generators. They're good. We'll keep the diesel fuel going. But you can't pump fuel to run the trucks to bring you new fuel. And those trucks have to have logistics to keep them running anyway. And how do you order the parts for the trucks? Electronically. Everything's digitized these days. Can you get new parts for the trucks? Nope. The trucks break down. But it wouldn't matter. They probably wouldn't have no fuel to run on anyway. So everything just starts unraveling. The power plants run out of fuel. The spent fuel rod pools evaporate 160 gallons a minute. That's not too bad for a pump. That is, if you got a pump that'll run, all these pumps in nuclear power plants are diesel generators, are run by electricity provided by backup is diesel generators. No, nuclear power plants do not generate their own power that they actually consume. They actually, believe it or not, draw power from the grid. And you have to have grid power to start them up. You can't start a nuclear power plant up on its own. It has to have power supplied from an outside source. We call that black start, starting up a plant like that. Black start. Very interesting proposition. Very tough when the grid's down. We'll get new transformers. We'll get everything going. These transformers that will be fried by this event would be those big high voltage transformers that weigh 200 to 400 tons apiece. As big as a house. It takes 18 months to get them on your loading deck after you order them. Of course, you can't order them because one, you got no money. Two, there's no internet to order them from. And the workforce that would probably be building them is probably scattered and dying off. And here's another thing. The MP Congressional Task Force estimated that within a year of an event like this, 9 out of 10 people be dead due to societal collapse. They forgot to factor in these power plants. So it would be far worse, actually. Plus, they thought all the farmers grew their own food. No, they grow what you sell for the most part. More are starting to come back to it. But, hey, I did a survey. I did a video on this. Go back to my videos where I went through riding around farms all over north Alabama and Georgia and some of the most rural areas too. Nope, no garden here, no garden here. No, you see me driving for miles. No garden here, no garden here, no garden here. And I went in and looked on Google Earth. Same story. It's amazing. I mean, people just aren't going garden. I got maybe a little garden, but not enough to feed them. That's where you got to fix it. Okay. Now I've kind of painted this picture. 9 out of 10 people is optimistic. You're the great prepper. You got everything. Do you really? Maybe you need a bunker. One you can stay in for a long time. It's going to take them a few lights to cook off. Could be decades. Could be decades. How about a house you can make a living out of, live out of, and grow your food in? It's also radioactive protected. Yeah, I'm working on a concept for that. I'll do a video on that real soon. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's show some charts. Most of them lost most of it, because most people don't watch but for 8 minutes. So I am going to show some charts here. I might come on and do a live Q&A session tonight. So I'm going to do some charts here. Give me a second. Share screen. First, before I show the charts, and I'm going to was already taught the most of it here. Let's go in here and look at a video. I pulled this off NASA's SOHO site, and believe it or not, the latest video they got is the one from back on the 14th. So the 14th, 15th, and 16th, we have flare events. We're seeing these now. That's a small one. Here we go. It's on the 14th. That's a halo flare. The far side of the sun. This is another view. They do have an instrument on the far side of the sun in the L3 point, but it's limited. Just watch the sun. Look at that. Again, the 14th. That's the halo flare on the 14th. That's where it's coming from. All right. Enough of that. We're going to stop that share. And go to another share screen. We're going to go Google. Oops. Wrong button. Share screen. This is a channel a lot of you guys watch, BP Earth Watch. I hear you guys talk about them all the time. So look, this is NASA video he's got. So the only thing that's his is he put a label on here. I'm not going to play a sound. There you go. You set going down to the southwest there. Boom. That's a huge CME. You see a halo right before that, and you see this one drop down. Check it out, guys. You'll see the halo fire. There's a halo, and then you see this. Not much of a halo on that one, but you see this big. Look, that's intense. Look at all that. That is super dense charged plasma, and that little speck is larger than Earth on this diagram. This reticle here is blocking the sun, so you can see all this stuff. The diameter of the sun would match with the circle, so Earth would just be a dot compared to all that, like one of these little dots. Look at all that. You wouldn't want that to hit you. Unfortunately, someone's breaking out, but that is really intense. Okay, enough said of that. The Earth Watch is referring to that as a kill shot, and if it hits you, well, it just might be. Like I said, we don't know the intensity of it. This is where I've downloaded the video I showed you from my real player. But the latest they got is 14 July. You know, this is the NASA SOHO site, but hey, spaceweather.com did have a video of that up here, and they took it down. But they got the sunspots right there. Some of them are showing. And let's see here. Oh yeah, look there. See the solar flare brighten off the space station solar panel. When you roll that panel called ROSA, see that? Space station picked up some of that as it's going around the Earth. Okay, so the space station is supported by a big balloon. You see a balloon in this? This is NASA hides everything. This is not a NASA photograph. This is taken by Mr. Paul Smith in his backyard through a 14-inch telescope. There's all kind of amateur astronomers all over the world, and they love nothing better than blowing the lid off something. I mean, you know, all over the world, they wouldn't put up with that in other countries. Come on, guys. There's also people getting pictures of the space station going across the surface of the sun or the moon. There's no balloon above the space station. Look, guys, I've flown rockets and balloons just to get a payload up to 20,000. Excuse me, 100,000 feet or 20 miles. About the biggest balloon out there gets about, well, now it can do a 16,000 pound payload, but it would take a balloon the size of an Astrodome just to pick up something 8,000 pounds, guys, to that altitude. I'm serious. It takes a lot of volume to pick weight up to that height. That's 20 miles. Space station's a couple hundred miles. Balloons don't fly over 25 miles up, guys. That's it. You're not getting any higher with a balloon, not much. Because the atmosphere is just way too thin. At 20 miles, the atmosphere is only 1% the density on Earth. At this altitude, it's zip almost. Zip, nothing. There's a few molecules up there, but they're very insubstantial and support a balloon by any stretch of the imagination, a balloon or airplane or anything like that. Alrighty, guys. So I just hear that a lot. So that's why I'm remember that. Let's do sprites, guys. All right, we're going to go now into, yeah, that's that balloon carrying that spot mug is about 20 miles high there. All right, so let's go into my presentation. I'll stop this share thing, and we're going to go into a presentation in a second. And I've shown this before, so we're going to fly through it. You can see this in other videos I've got here. And we're going to blow it up. Bing. Worse than you can imagine. Even worse than a full-scale nuclear war. Yeah, it could be worse than that. Here is a map of where the nuclear power plants in the United States are. About 100 of them. Some of them got 2 or 3 reactors in them, like Brown's Ferry's got 3. Here's some of your predominant winds, but winds also move around. You can't just count on them being always the predominant location. Magnitude of the threat is, well, this data actually is 85,000 metric tons is a 3-year-old figure. This is now it's probably close to 100,000 metric tons. So I said here the pools are the rods are in pools 20 foot deep. The rods are coated in zirconium alloy, which burns on contact with air. And I've had a guy argue, oh, no, it don't. Almost I got test reports that show it does. Sandia National Laboratories has tested. I can show those here too real quick. If the water is not continuously pumped, the hot rods will evaporate it away. And they burn on contact with air. That's the problem. Now, if we fail to harden the grid, that may be the new number. Okay, that was the old number down here. Yeah, 85,000 metric tons. Yeah, I started this charts back about 3 years ago, and it's gone from that to that. Okay, I got to go back and update that. So here we are, guys. 85 metric tons. I went through the math here, and I estimated, assuming 141 pounds of nuclear material for warhead. So you got something scale of about 91 full-scale nuclear wars of nuclear material just sitting in the reactor pools, waiting for a power outage. They go up in smoke and float over your head. So here's where I got the 141 pounds of enriched uranium. Little boy. That's why I calculated 141 pounds up here. I think now they got it down to 45 pounds with some of the stuff. So yeah, it could be worse. So more radiation than almost 100 full-scale nuclear wars from this stuff. So I'm talking here. I use my sources. I don't mean to be the prophet of doom. There's your here's your cooling pool. This is not inside the reactor containment building. This building only has a sheet metal roof over it. So when this stuff starts burning, that sheet metal roof's gone. All this is going to be out in the air. There's a fuel pellet. Here's a fuel rod, color in zircaloy. Here's pictures of the ignition test where they burnt, guys. See here? Here's the ignition test they did, and here's the fuel rods. They burn. They burn on contact with air. They burn. Here's the rubble. They didn't have uranium in these. These are just the zircaloy. So that's how they're able to go in here and mess with them. So that's just the zircaloy cladding that normally goes over with uranium. And if y'all need, I can show you the test reports. Here's what you got. Here's your containment building. Here's the reactor. Everybody worries about the reactor vessel. Here is the spent fuel rod pools. Over here in a side building, don't have all this concrete over it. It's a sheet metal roof. A sheet metal roof like that. You see that, guys? Gone. Gone. That's Fukushima. Fortunately, they were able to keep water pumped there on the spent fuel rod pools. So some people were worried about those pools. Since they were elevated upstairs above the reactor for Fukushima, they worried about them collapsing and tipping over and spilling those rods out. Fortunately, that didn't happen. And there's our reactors. Now, typically, they tell you got a stay out zone of about 50 miles around the reactor that you need to be out of if an event happens that causes the reactor to go to meltdown. That's just kind of a rule of thumb, guys. The truth of the matter is that the heavier elements do fall out closer to the reactor. But we know darn well we got cesium-137 coming out of Fukushima when those reactors exploded. That stuff went around the world. There are radioactive elements that go around the world. When you're kicking off this many reactors, just in the U.S. alone, you're going to have a lot of stuff going a lot of places. This is not an area where you want to be honest. There's some areas maybe up in East Tennessee that are okay. There's some areas right up in here, and very north tippy top of Lincoln County. There's some areas out here that I think are good prepper areas. Hey, I think this is a good prepper area for some reason. Of course, all of this, if you're not too close to, well, you got to worry a little bit about Yellowstone. More, you got to worry about the nuclear missile launch sites. They're going to be pummeled heavy in a war. If we have a nuclear war, this area is going to be hit hard. So you're going to have a lot of radiation up here from the war itself. So that's why I'm kind of liking it right in this area. So yeah, this tells you that 104 reactors that are active continue to produce 2,000 tons of highly radioactive waste each year. So this ended in 2015. We were talking about the capacity we had to store stuff, and we were already reaching past that capacity. So what are we doing? Dry storage. This is the safer storage, but the spent fuel rods that are not in dry storage are in growing proportion to these. This is one of the backup generators I was telling you about. The guys pointing at was probably a fuel filter there. So what all can bring us down? Solar coronal mass ejections. That's what we've been talking about. From a nuclear war, you could have a high altitude detonation of a nuclear weapon causing an EMP. We can go more into this in the future. I'll talk in more detail on it. Probability. NASA had estimated 12% per decade, 12% probability per decade of a Carrington event. But I'm going to tell you, the Earth's magnetic field getting weaker. An event far smaller, like maybe the Quebec event, the hydro event of 1989, which is 1/100th the scale, the Carrington might be capable in a few years of taking a grid down. Definitely the 1921 railroad event could do it. So don't take the Carrington event. 21 event could have done it 100 years ago. And we're overdue. This is what this is how the fields could reach out from a detonation and altitude. This is how far the waves could reach to take out the grids in these areas according to the height of the detonation. It says 9 out of 10 Americans could die of starvation and societal collapse from a nationwide blackout. Hey, you won't be able to get your medicines. Your refrigerator's not working, guys. Your cell phone's not working. So people got desperate in 3 days in Katrina. And this is where we had in April 27, 2011, our power went out here from a tornado, EF5 tornado. That's out a few days. It was a mess. About 50 grid, Hardened. And surge blockers, Faraday cages. Perspectives, hope. Well, yeah, I do have hope. I do have hope for a beautiful future, guys. Let me stop this share. Let's see, I'll go in and see if I can share something else. I'm going to end this video in a minute. A second here. Oh, yeah. Here's one of the papers on the test here, scientific paper. They made a presentation on it. I'll just show you the presentation there real fast. And there's other papers on the same topic. I'm just going to flip through overview. Shows the different kind of configurations they tested with arrangements of the fuel grains and the fuel rods. Shows where it's burned out at the bottom down there. Shows you the propagation of the fire. Some of them just burnt slap up. That one just burnt slap up. He's going to fist up there. Yeah, look what we did. All right, guys, let me stop that share. I got these reports. They exist. Sandia National Laboratories did the test. So this ain't Greg Allison blowing smoke. And by the way, I chaired 2 Power Grid Defense conferences. Go to powergriddefense.org and you'll see the kind of people who attend my conferences, okay? I've had some of them here on this channel. I'll bring you more of them in the future. So, this is serious. It's really serious. The best thing we can do is get our power grid hardened where we don't have to deal with this. No matter how good your prep, you need to work to help us get the power grid hardened. One of the top things you can do is work with your EMA people to get them to do a realistic exercise of what's going to be off the grid goes down for a prolonged period, and there's no cavalry coming to help them because everybody's dealing with it. See, they always this freaking help here, there, yeah, because they think of local problems nationwide. Have them do a realistic simulation of the nationwide and see where they go. That's what Ambassador Hank Cooper did. He realized when they actually went through this, people at the lower level would see this, and they would start griping your uppers management, and that would force their hands to pay attention. It worked. Duke Power is now working to harden the grid in North and South Carolina. No, in North Carolina and South Carolina, yeah. Thanks to Ambassador Hank Cooper. I did a video with him, which he laid all this out, how he went to and socialized this from the bottom up within the power companies, the EMA communities there in the Carolinas, and how effective that's been. Now, he used to be the head of the Strategic Defense Initiative Office. That's a counter I got back in the days when I was working at SDI, back in the late 80s. Yeah, I've been around a little bit. I worked on the Army space program before I joined and worked with NASA's and my own space program. Buddy, this is my space program, no NASA. I've done it. All right, I was an entrepreneur. So I was New Space before there's a word for it. All right. Yeah, I am an electrical engineer. So, and I work system safety right now on the space launch system. So I know a little bit about power grid defense, electrical systems, electrical safety. So I'm just here to tell you that this is great. This is real. And it could happen. There are several root causes again. If you think about it, the sun, eventually the sun will get us if we do nothing. So far, we're doing nothing. High altitude EMP from a nuclear detonation, which is worse than the sun, by the way. It gives you what the sun gives you and other energy components, which comprise smaller electronics. You could have a New Madrid earthquake will take out the grid due to cascading failures from all those lines getting sheared across the Mississippi. A direct ballistic attack. People going in and attack the transformers. Hacking, attacking. Excuse me. Guys, yeah. You're seeing a lot of cyber stuff of late. That could do the job. Cyber. It's believed that if we were to get into a war with another country, if they were to try to bring their down a grid, they would use a multi-pronged attack that would include direct ballistic attack, cyber attack, and probably an EMP. Or maybe we'll just wait around for the sun. When the sun does it, then they move everything. Oh yeah, by the way, Russia and China have hardened grids. We don't. By the way, our military bases run off the civilian power grids for the most part. 95% of the power. Yeah, we are in a world of hurt. So, with all that out there, what you need to do, like I said, first work, get the grid hardened. Work with me on that. We'll cover more on that in the future. Second, prepare. Do you have the food, the ability to sanitize the water? Maybe you need a bunker. Might be good to live and move, not move out of the cities and move away from the nuclear power plants too, or nuclear targets. You don't want to be in places that's a target. Maybe out in the middle of nowhere. It's a good place to be. Fortunately, it's hard to make a living that way, but not so bad these days that a lot of people work from home. Or so I'll do that. Get a bunker. You can build, bunkers in the woods, basically behind your house or in your backyard by digging a trench and put some logs on top, covering it over with dirt. You need 6 foot of dirt, by the way. Well, 6 for cosmic rays. 2 foot will cover you for most of this stuff that we got to deal with this stuff. So 2 foot's enough. Or build a habitat that I've been talking about some in the past. I'll do another video on that soon because I got some architectural drawings, so it makes it look real pretty. Okay, my friends, that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Get ready. Just prepare. We're living in perilous times. Seriously prepare. Check out prepwithgreg.com. And you need to stock up on seeds. So go to my link, the True Leaf Market. All the links below. And with that, I'm going to say a hearty thank you for watching.